Ark Survival Ascended, the continuation of everybody's favorite game, Ark Survival Evolved. Waking up on a beach lost, confused, and naked. Hey, wait a minute, why am I naked right now? Our goal is to navigate this beautiful island, survive its dangerous caves. Okay, this cave is looking pretty peaceful. Lordy! Oh crap! Oh! And prove ourselves as the ultimate survivor by beating the alpha monkey, broodmother, dragon, and the alpha overseer. And I only have 100 days to do all this. So, let's get this show on the road. Alright boys, our first day on the island. Right away I got to work doing the standard explorer note run, because I'ma need all the levels I can get. While doing the note run, I couldn't help but notice how peaceful everything was. Compared to Ark Evolved where it was World War V everywhere you looked. I had to stop my note run though, because I needed to heal after breaking my ankles. So I got on a rock, unlocked some engrams, made some clothes, and a bow and arrow. While planning my next move, I found a level 10 moss chops, which would have been a good starting tame if it wasn't craving rare shrooms. In my frustration, I eliminated this here dilo for its hide. Then I killed a wild Phiomia and this wandering degenerate and settled down by a campfire because it is real cold at night. When I could finally move 2 feet from my campfire, I started making my way along the beach because I had a plan in mind, and the first part of my plan involves trilobites. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a single trilobite in this entire area, so I set up a temporary base camp, made a mortar and pestle so I could start making some of that good stuff, harvested some stones so I could make a refining forge, and once I smelted all the metal I had, I was able to make myself a smithy. Now that I had the ability to make some metal tools, I got to work farming all the metal so I could eventually make some flat gear. For now though, I shifted my focus to finding a good berry gatherer, but as you can imagine, I didn't find one. So instead I made myself this here crossbow, and after some more searching I settled for taming this level 10 trike. It's by no means the greatest level, but I just need it for berries. Once it was tamed, I gave it a saddle that I forgot to show me making, and just look at all them berries. When I got back to base, I got to work crafting more narcotics for some of that sweet XP, and started crafting some dino gates because I wanted to tame myself an Argentavis. But before I did that, I needed to tame myself a Pteranodon because I am not walking halfway across the map on a level 10 trike. What level are you?
What's up?
Oh, is that a trilobite? Yes, it is. $95. That's not bad. Honestly, I'm just gonna tame this. While waiting for my soon-to-be bird to tame up, I went ahead and made its saddle and dealt with some annoyances. Oi! With my bird now tamed up, the next thing I needed was some hide so I can make an Argentavis saddle. So I found some dinos, introduced them to my crossbow. And once I had enough hide, I made the Argentavis saddle, packed up my supplies, and began my search for an Argentavis. There it is. Oh, yeah. 125. Well, that went better than expected. Only thing left to do now is just wait for it to tame, so I figured I might as well get a head start building my base. I already had a spot in mind before playing, so once I got there, I got to work building up my home, and I gotta say, I really liked the building changes they made in this game. If only they made taming less time consuming. When the RG was ready to be tamed, I hunted down a source of prime meat, harvested the prime meat, fed it to the bird, and boom! I immediately used this opportunity to harvest all the metal my new friend could carry, which wasn't much. Crystal was another resource that I needed, so I flew on over to this little mountain in the redwoods to gather some, and I also flew on over to my old base to grab my moss chops, because I needed a better way to gather berries than using my puny hands. I would have grabbed the trike, but he's too big for my RG to carry. I'll be back for you someday, my friend. Once I arrived back home, I continued constructing my new base when I wasn't getting harassed by the locals.
I'm dying. Help me.
How did you get here? But once things finally calmed down, I grabbed my crossbow and some trank arrows because I wanted to tame me a Dodic. The only problem is that in this game they are really hard to find. Not because they're rare, but because of how much you have to strain your eyes to find them because they look like rocks. So after spending 20 minutes of searching and finding not a single Dodic, I decided to change up my plans and tame this level 120 Ankylo. Once I brought it back to base, it was real easy to knock out because their turning radius is less than ideal. Once the Ankylo was knocked out, I really didn't have anything else to do. So I grabbed some metal and ventured on over to the snow biome because the next tame I want is a mammoth. Not only are they able to farm me a ton of berries, but they're also pretty good at farming wood. There was just one small problem though. I forgot to make the trap. Yeah, not the brightest move on my part, but when there's a will, there is a way. And by way, I mean going the caveman way, by shooting it with a bunch of arrows till it was knocked out. Once it was asleep, I got to work building some defenses around it because the area I knocked it out in was less than ideal. Once I returned home, I tamed the Ankylo, restocked on my food, and went right back to the snow biome to farm some oil. I also grabbed some silica pearls too, because I was gonna need to start making a lot of electronics. Oh! He's swimming at me sideways! Ah, nature. So beautiful. Anyway, the mammoth finally lost enough food for me to tame it, so after making a small amount of cryopods, I tamed the furry boy and put it into a cryopod, and went back on the hunt once again for a single Dodicarus. Do not get mad, Mr. Beaver. I am nothing but a humble salesman. Ooh, I mean, I'll always take better armor any day. Yeah, that will do. It's a shame that I was getting jumped by a bunch of filthy degenerates, because now I have to wait 500 years for it to heal up. To pass the time, I farmed some berries and wood with my new mammoth, and if you notice by now, my frames in this game are kind of dying. I do end up fixing this issue later, but just know that it was starting to annoy me. But complaining doesn't get me anywhere closer to beating the Alpha Overseer, so I put my head down and went to work. taking a break from building my base, I decided now would be a good opportunity to start getting my Rex army going, and a level 140 Rex would do just fine. Only problem is that Rexes have the attention span of a goldfish and attack anything that moves, which isn't annoying at all. But once I eventually got it into the trap, and almost 100 trank arrows later, I knocked it out. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's some good melee right there. The only thing missing now was a good health stat, but before I do any more Rex taming, I got some more grinding to do. Come on, team up, team up, team up. Yes!
Hello.
Oh, is that a male? Oh, no, 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 no.
This is worthless.
Oh! Give me them gloves right away. Okay, that saddle is insane. It's super expensive, but I'm definitely crafting it. Another thing I'm doing is grabbing the trike I left at my old base because I'm never leaving a man behind. Once I was back at base, I made another bear trap and more trank arrows because while flying around, I found this max level Rex. I was hoping for a high level female, but how can I say no to a max level Rex? By now, you guys know how this whole taming thing works. Make traps, shoot trank arrows, and it's out. While waiting for it to get hungry enough to tame, I went back to base and made some vaults so I can store all my resources, gear, narcotics, and whatever else I want to throw in there. With my storage needs handled for now, I started making a small hatching platform, which should be good enough for my future army raising. And when it was nighttime, I went out farming some supply drops. I was trying to get some decent loot from them, but the only thing I got that was worth anything at all was this electric prod. Where's that Packy? Back at base, I made some air conditioners using the electronics I crafted, along with a generator to power them. Then I went out and farmed some crystal because I wanted to make a greenhouse. I had everything I needed to make the greenhouse except a good source of fertilizer. So I decided to switch my focus and tame this high-level RG that was just chilling by my base. I'll shoot you right in the foot. While waiting for it to tame, I demolished some of the metal structures that I've been collecting, and that is a good amount of metal. Since metal is apparently no longer an issue, I got to work on my next project, which was getting a breeding pair of baryonyx so I could finally start doing some caves. But there was nothing, and by nothing, I mean there wasn't a single good level baryonyx around. I managed to find an insane RG saddle along with 2 high-level frogs, but I just couldn't find one. I was able to unlock the industrial forge and tame this cute little sheep, but morale at this point was pretty low. So I stopped recording for a little while to process my terrible luck, and when I started my recording again, I was now on a rock with no pants to my name, no RG, and surrounded by a bunch of bloodthirsty dinos. If you're curious on how exactly I ended up here, I'll give you a brief summary. Yeah, so I got jumped by a rhino. I managed to kill it since it was like a level 10, but not without me losing my RG. So I think it's safe to say that I'm not in the best spot right now. And since I'm really not looking forward to going to the afterlife yet, I need to think of something, and fast. No. Alright, I gotta run. No! Why? I lost that insane Argentavis saddle, but I don't care, man. I don't care. Oh, thank you. Okay. That was stressful. I'm happy I'm alive, but I just lost an insane RG saddle. It's whatever though. I can always find another one, hopefully. For the time being, I used my backup RG to continue my search for a good level baryonyx, while looking out for a high level female Rex because I really needed to get a head start on mutation grinding. I didn't find any around the main mountains, so I decided to look for another RG to tame, in case, you know, the game sends another mutated mosquito after me. I was able to find a decent level RG after spending almost 30 minutes searching, and once it was knocked out, I farmed some Yudi lungs for a certain boss fight. When I arrived back home, I finally made myself an industrial forge. I also got the RG's breeding because I really wanted an imprinted one. Once the little baby RGs hatched, I got to work drawing some of my blood, because I wanted to make the quality of life nanny. It's basically the S plus nanny, only instead of human hair, it requires blood. And after spending 5 minutes of drawing blood, I was starting to get a little compromised. So I went to dig up another treasure chest.
Why won't you die?
No, no, I'm dead. What is with terror birds? I just wanted a chest. Ha, I am having so much fun right now. I love losing 2 of my best flyers in the span of 10 minutes. Anyways, now that I'm down 2 of my best flyers, I just chilled around my base regretting all of my life choices. And you may notice that my old character is currently sleeping on the ground, and that's because I decided to buy my own server because hosting my own world was starting to make my frame rate non-existent. I was able to transfer my world over, but I had to make a new character. I also finished raising my RG, which I called Batbird, and man does it feel good to have an imprinted dino. So now that I have a strong flyer, I think it's time to start focusing on getting some good level baryonyx. Oh! Hello, friend. You're about to see a baryonyx lose to Phiomias. I'm rooting for you. Ah! Yes! Once I was back at base after almost 5 days of searching, I got to work building a little breeding area for my underwater tames, and after gathering some fish meat for my baryonyx, I just flew around my base for a little while and found this high-level pteranodon. So I made some spike walls, shot it with a trank arrow, and found another high-level pteranodon. And you guys know how this all goes. Use bola, shoot trank arrows, wait 30 minutes, and now we have a breeding pair. I got the 2 lovebirds mating along with the baryonyx, and now that I had a ton of babies growing up, I decided to stick around my base for a little while, and when I wasn't doing meat runs, I was checking in on my baryonyx, which I named Berry Poppins. After spending several minutes of waiting, I finally had myself an imprinted berry, so naturally I got my frogs breeding and brought Berry Poppins over to our first cave. This cave, in my opinion, is probably the easiest on the island, so while I was here for the artifact, I was also looking for dung beetles. These small boys got an upgrade from Ark Evolved by being able to now passively collect dino feces. However, their taming process didn't change at all. So after spending some time passively feeding this beetle its daily fecal calories, I now had myself an unlimited source of fertilizer. After going further into the cave, I secured my first artifact, and once I made it out of the cave, I grabbed some cementing paste and decided why not do another cave.
Hello there.
Oh, what is this? We shall walk up nice and slow. Okay, I didn't even jump. Another cave in the books. Okay, that was fun. I love getting swarmed by bloodthirsty bats, and I still have 8 more caves left. Before leaving Carno Island, I got into another fight with an alpha T-Rex, and after turning said Rex into sentient Swiss cheese, I grabbed its tribute and went back home. When I arrived back at base, I made several sets of scuba gear, and you would think that I was planning on going into the ocean, but you don't know Ark, my friend, because I'm going into the swamp cave. Alright, let's just take this nice and slow. Alright, let's keep moving through. My main concern in this cave isn't even. Holy crap, that is a lot of flying bugs. Very nice. Yes. Level 89. Oh, I see that Megalania right there. Well, that went better than expected. I not only got the artifact, but also a ton of good loot and a lot of levels. Once I got back to base, I grabbed the fertilizer my dung beetle was making me, and now I can finally start growing some crops. With that all sorted, I went right back into the swamp cave because I might have left my otter in there. Once I secured the otter, I left the cave to return home and went right back out to tame this high-level female Rex that I spotted earlier. I was hoping for it to have a good health stat for my Rex army, but as you will see, I got something else. Nice, and it's out. Oh, this Rex is... What is that? What is that? Well, at least I won't have to worry about it starving anymore. Moving on from that, I had some time to kill while waiting for my new Rex to tame, so I flew on over to the snow biome, claimed some baby penguins, and witnessed World War Mammoth. Once the Rex was ready, I flew on over, fed it some prime meat, and it was mine. At base, I started making some tree sap taps so I can start collecting some sap. Then I grabbed some bug repellent, ghillie armor, and some rare flowers because it was time to tame some bees.
Nope.
What? Yes, got it. Is this the wrong time to have fluctuating? Yes. On the morning of day 38, I began my adventures in the vast ocean because it was time to tame myself an anglerfish. Now, normally the baryonyx can travel the ocean with minimal issue, but with the addition of the xiphactinus, or as I like to call them, demon fish, the ocean is a lot more dangerous. Since when are leads a...
Nighty-nighty.
Once I returned to base, I used the organic polymer that I've been collecting to make an industrial cooker, and went right back in the ocean to test out my new anglerfish, and that is a lot of pearls. The only thing I could think of that can make this trip even better is if I was able to find a alpha most. Well, thanks, game. With my dominance now firmly established over the ocean, I began the long process of running back to base because black pearls are really heavy. But once I finally made it back to base, I was able to store away the black pearls. Yeah, I'm done making that joke. I also made a ton of electronics, which I used to make a chemistry bench, and just look at all them narcotics. I also made some med brews, stimulant, and a single veggie cake. The reason why I only made one is because I wanted to make the Dino Hatchery. It's pretty much the same thing as the S Plus Hatchery, and now that I had everything set up, I got the Rex's breeding so I can get all the good stats into one perfect male and female. While waiting for the Rex eggs, I flew on over to the Green Obelisk to make a cryofridge and more cryopods, but the main thing I wanted to make was a gas mask. This boy right here should make running the swamp cave a lot easier, so I got my new frog, flew on over to the swamp cave, and that is a good amount of cementing paste. Once I had enough cementing paste, I flew on back to base and was able to get a Rex baby that had the good melee stat. I still needed a female with the good health stat though, so while I was waiting, I set up a little mini turret tower to keep my base safe from any unwanted visitors, and made a second base for my penguin friends because I wanted to make an organic organic polymer farm. Right now though, I started drawing more blood so I can make some of these hemoglobin cocktails, which I need in order to tame a Ceratosaurus. These guys are a new addition to Ark Ascended, and I want one. So after making 4 of these interesting drinks, I flew on over to the Dead Island and began my search. As you can imagine, my initial luck in finding a good level Cerato was non-existent, so I just went down into the cave and grabbed another artifact, just in case I want to fight the alpha monkey 2 times in a row. And once I left the cave, I was able to find a good level Cerato. The only problem was that I wasn't able to tame it. In order to tame a Cerato, you first have to feed your dino the special drink, then you have to let the Cerato bully your dino for a little bit until it's drunk enough to feed. The only problem I was having was that my baryonyx is a little bit of a lightweight and was getting yeeted around the map. So for the time being, I'm not going to be able to tame a Cerato. The official wiki says to use a stego, but I'll worry about that for later. Because right now, I decided to head on over to get another artifact, this one being the artifact of the hunter. The cave itself isn't anything too difficult, just gotta watch out for the mutated centipedes. But once I got to the end of the cave, I secured the artifact, and at this point, I was feeling pretty good about myself. So I decided to try a more riskier cave, which was the lava cave.
What the hell?
What in the Lord's name? Okay. I can see. Begone, heathen scum. Holy! Yeah, so that was fun. I love when the game doesn't let me jump. And if things weren't bad enough already, I somehow, in my 45 days of playing, forgot to make a bed. Meaning, I somehow have to run all the way back to base, make more grappling hooks, and get my stuff back. And to keep things brief, here's how that went. I start running back to base, and I get jumped by raptors. Oh, would you look at that, I almost make it back to base this time. Nope, I get jumped by a bunch of terror birds. Retried again, and I die again. And it was only after dying for like the 100th time that I finally made it back to base, grabbed my stuff, flew all the way back to the lava cave, and was able to grab my gear. Honestly, I have no idea how my stuff didn't despawn, but you know what? I don't care. So I returned to base and began getting mentally prepared to have to breed up a whole Rex army, get a new berry, start my search for some Therazinos, just roll the clips.
Hello there.
What the dog doing?
Alright, so I found a female 125. Once the theory was knocked out, I did the standard process of sit around, wait 10 years, feed it kibble, and just look at that melee. Only thing that I'm missing now is a good health stat, and my fairy army is looking real good right now. That's gonna have to wait though, because I still wanted a good level Ceratosaurus. And in order to do that, I needed to tame something strong, something chunky, and a stego would do just fine. So I began my search looking around the entire map for a good level stego, and it was only after flying to Herbivore Island that I found a level 110 stego. It's not the best level, but it will do its purpose. While waiting for it to tame, I made more focal chili, hatched more perfect female Rexes, went on a meat run to make sure my tames didn't starve, and when a spiky boy was ready to be tamed, I gave it some kibble, and it was mine. When I returned to base, I started gathering some fiber because I wanted to make this Ascended Stego Saddle BP. It might seem like overkill, but it's my resources, buddy. I can do what I want. Like going on another metal run because you can never have too much metal. The same also applies to blood packs because I might have found out that I'm going to need a lot more cocktails. So after spending 20 minutes drawing all the blood in my body, I got my Rexes breeding for mutations, used all my sap to make these 13 veggie cakes, and once I had everything set up, I flew on over to Carno Island and tried to find a good level Cerato. Alright, I guess it just won't let me. Okay, so apparently the game just likes to troll me, because I can spend 2 days not finding a single good level Cerato, but not even 5 minutes into the ocean I find a level 145 Basilo. Thanks, game. Moving on from my growing annoyance, I fed the Basilo some kibble, waited around for 10 years, and it was mine. Now, if only the game would give me a good level Ceratosaurus, that would be great. But apparently that's asking for too much from this game, so I just went back into the ocean looking for a decent level male Basilo to tame, but while I was searching, I ran across a wall squid that really wanted to be my friend and pulled me into the mesh. Thankfully, the game showed mercy upon me, and I was able to escape the mesh and vanquish the filthy squid. And after killing another squid, I eventually settled for this mid-level Basilo and tamed it. Back at base, I did a small hide run with my Therizino, got the Basilos breeding so I could start running the underwater caves for, you know, the artifacts, and did another meat run because these boys eat a lot of food. When I wasn't lowering the local dino population, I was trying to get more Rex mutations, raising my baby Basilo, and doing my favorite activity, running the swamp cave. Some of you may think that I'm completely wasting my time, but if I want to beat the Alpha Broodmother, then this is the way to get a good Rex saddle blueprint. As usual, my luck with this cave was complete garbage, so once I left the cave, I tried to find a good level Therizino for my dragon army, but I couldn't find a single Theri. So, I tried to find a good level Ceratosaurus, but wouldn't you guess it, my terrible luck strikes again. I spent the whole day trying to find one good level Ceratosaurus, but all I could find was mid. And after spending another 10 minutes searching, I just gave up on the idea of finding a good level Cerato for now, returned to base to grab my scuba gear because it was time to do the easy water cave. Now, normally the easy water cave is, well, easy to do with an imprinted Basilo, but with the addition of the demon fish, this cave might be a challenge. Oh, that's a moose. Level 100. That's fine. Oh, is that as I fanked this? Oh, I gotta bail, I gotta bail, I gotta bail, I gotta bail, I gotta bail. I'm gonna scope out the final room, and if I don't like what I see, I'm gonna have to rethink my strategy. Level 90. Alright. It decided to have brain worms. Well, that was fun. Honestly, I expected that cave to be a lot worse, but I'll take it because the next cave I have to do is gonna be a rough one. And what that cave is called? Well, it's called the Hard Underwater Cave.
Hello there.
What is that eel? That is a death pit of hell right there. Oh, f. Alright, pack boost is gone. Alright, let's see what kind of hell awaits me down here. And I'm out of stamina.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, that was something. All I gotta say is thank you, OP Saddle, because otherwise I'd be swimming with the fishes. Get it? Because I was a fish? Okay, terrible jokes aside, the only caves now that I have left to do is the Claustrophobia Cave and the Ice Cave, but we'll just wait on doing those two. For now though, I really needed to find a high-level male fairy so I can get a head start on my Dragon Boss army, so while flying back to base, I was keeping an eye out for any high-level male fairies, and found this. Ark, thank you. By now, you guys should know how this whole taming process goes. Make traps, shoot shrink arrows, wait 10 years, and boom, got myself a high-level male fairy. The health on the fairy was a little lower than what I would like, but at least I now have a breeding pair. At base, I started hatching Rex eggs for mutations, and I actually got one on my first batch, but it wasn't in health or melee. After some time, I hatched another batch of Rex eggs, and this time I got a baby that not only had a health mutation, but a melee mutation as well. The only downside is that it was a female, so now I gotta wait again. To cure my boredom, I tried once again to find a good level Ceratosaurus, but here's a shock for you, I didn't find it. I spent the whole day on Carno Island and did not find a single good level one. I love this game. Since I pretty much wasted a whole day doing nothing, I figured I might as well run the swamp cave again because I could really use a good Rex saddle BP. But instead of getting anything useful, the only thing I got was a ascended pistol and 4 stone. You know, I'm beginning to think that this game just doesn't like me. At base, I got my mutated female Rex breeding with a perfect male, and started the process of combining all my good fairy stats. Since I had some time on my hands, I started drawing more of my blood, and by the end of it, I had 7 hemoglobin cocktails. So now I should be able to tame a high-level Cerato. The only hard part is trying to find one. Well, okay then. Now that I finally found a good level one, I might as well explain to you guys how this whole taming process goes. The way you tame this guy is you have to feed your tame the hemoglobin cocktails, then you just let the Cerato bully your tame for a little bit, and once it's drunk enough, you're able to feed it. Yeah, so I made error. Thankfully, I'm on an island where every creature drops prime meat, so I was able to get the Cerato to 50% taming effectiveness before it's sobered up, and now I get to go on this ride a second time. Once it was tamed, I checked its stats, and the health isn't the greatest, but how can I complain about that melee? Back at base, I made my newly tamed Cerato a saddle, and after leveling it on a steady diet of Rex eggs, I set out to find a fairy with a good health stat. Ooh, 120.
Hello.
Oh no.
Oh, wait, no! No! Yeah, so that happened. I was trying to tame one because they are really good for harvesting organic polymer, but it drowned. Can't have anything good in this game now, can we? Anyway, since my plan of taming a Pelagornis went topside, I might as well go get another cave done, so I flew on over to retrieve the artifact of the Skylord. Settle down, boys, settle down. Nothing like a nice and easy cave. At base, I hatched more Rex eggs, looking for a health or melee mutation, and I actually got one, but not in health or melee. Since I wasn't getting any luck with mutations, I figured I might as well run the swamp cave again, hoping that this time I would get a good Rex saddle BP, but the only thing I got was an Ascendant Shield. On the bright side, I finally got all the good Theory stats onto a male and female, so now I can get started on getting mutations. While that was going on, I flew on over to the volcano to see if there was any wild gigas wandering around, and lo and behold, there was one. Some of you might think that I wanted to tame it, but I actually needed its heart, and the lava would make getting it real easy. Once I secured the heart, I tried getting a Theory saddle from the Easy Water Cave, but the only thing I got was an Ascendant Megalodon saddle. I also tried getting one from the Hard Water Cave, but wouldn't you guess it, I got nothing. So I went back to base to get some of my trapping supplies, because I really wanted to fight the Alpha Broodmother soon, and a Daeodon would be real nice for healing my dinos. Another dino that would also be really nice to have is a Yudi for some damage resistance, but come on, everyone knows that finding a good level Yudi is almost impossible. Okay, never mind. Apparently, it is easy to find one. If only it was easy to get them into the trap, because whenever they scream, my 10-foot tall prehistoric bird runs for its life. But eventually, I was able to get the Yudi into the trap and knock it out. After some waiting around, the Yudi was finally ready for its 5-star course in prime meat, and I gotta say, its stats were not bad. Back at base, I started raising more baby Rexes because I wanted to see how strong an imprinted one was. I also hatched more Theory eggs to get my egg production faster, and thanks to the quality of life nanny, I didn't need to worry about imprinting my Rex because the nanny would do it for me. With that taken care of, I flew on back over to Carno Island, hoping to find a good level male Cerrado, and after some searching, I found a high level Spike Boy. Since you all know the drill by now, I'm just gonna fast forward to when I had this bad boy tamed up, and its stats were terrible. Thanks, game. Back at base, I got my first Theory mutation, which thankfully was in melee. I also had my Cerrados breeding to try to get all the good stats into one male and one female, but I didn't get any luck. Since it was going to take a while before I had another batch of eggs ready, I decided to look for a Pelagornis for my organic polymer farm, and once I found a suitable level, I really didn't want a repeat of last attempt, so I gave the guy a good smack on the head, hit it with a bola, knocked it out, waited 5 years, and boom. At base, I got my new tame some levels in the most humane way possible, ran the swamp cave again, and actually got an insane Rex saddle. Honey was the next thing on my mind because I really needed to increase my production. This time around, the bee was really easy to tame. Now, if only getting Rex mutations that weren't stamina was easy, that would be great. With my morale low, once again, I just took a theme Athena out for a spin, and that is some good damage. Once I returned home, I continued my quest for more Rex mutations, farmed some organic polymer thanks to my new Pelagornis, and decided to run the hard underwater cave again, because I really need that fairy saddle. What is that floor? What the? Oh, I'm dead. Yeah, so this is why I call them demon fish. I know the Alpha Meg was boosting them, but did you see how fast my health dropped? As you can imagine, I was pretty determined to get my stuff back, so after grabbing my backup set of scuba gear, I flew on back over to the hard water cave, and my plan was to use the Omni tool to grab my stuff, but I got jumped. That's okay though, because I had another plan. A while back, I got this insane dolphin saddle, so grabbing one piece of kibble, my plan was to grab all the dinos' attention, run to the very back of the cave, and hopefully be able to grab my stuff. And the plan actually worked out. With most of the dinos now at the very back of the cave, the only thing left to do was tame another Ichthy and use the Omni tool to grab my stuff. The only problem is that I didn't grab all of their attention. What? Where? Yeah, that's a problem. Another problem is that I'm slowly losing my mind. So, I had one last plan, which was grabbing one of my two remaining baryonyx and try to kill the eels before they can turn me into deep-fried human. And as you can imagine, that plan failed as well. So, now that I was down to one baryonyx, I had no idea how I was going to get past the Great Wall of Eels. So, in shame, I used the Cheat Destroy Wild Dinos command to get my stuff back. But on the way back home, I said no. No, I am not gonna cheat, because I'm a man, damn it. I got pride. So I threw away all my good loot, my good Rex saddle, and stored away the tames I shouldn't have, and began rebuilding my gear, which is what I should have done all along. So, in the end, even though I did use the command to get my stuff back, it doesn't matter because I forbid myself from using them and wasted a whole day. So, after rebuilding my gear, my game showed kindness to me by giving me another Rex mutation in Melee, but I still needed another imprinted Basilo. So I farmed some meat, got the Basilos breeding again, and started making a ton of kibble because I had a plan in mind for the future. For right now though, I needed to focus my attention on getting an army for the Alpha Broodmother going. One of the things I needed was a breeding pair of Daeodons, so I made a trap for them, made more cryopods at the green obelisk, finally got a Basilo with some good health and melee, and started searching for a breeding pair of Daeodons. Luck seemed to be on my side though, because not only was I able to find this a level 145 male Daeodon, but I was also able to find a level 115 Yudi and a level 150 female Daeodon. Once the male Daeodon was tamed, I was able to get the female knocked out, but I didn't have anything to trap the Yudi, so I had to get creative. Once the Yudi was finally knocked out, I brought the female Daeodon back to base, flew on over to the Yudi, fed it some mutton, and now I got a breeding pair. At base I got the Yudi and Daeodons breeding, and tried to get more Rex mutations, but I didn't have any luck. So I made more exceptional kibble, grabbed some metal billboards, and flew on back over to the snow biome because if I was going to continue running the swamp cave, I needed to tame myself a Megatherium. Once I was back at base, I got my Megatherium some levels by sacrificing some Rexes and claimed some baby Daeodons. The female Theri had finished raising during this time, so I got a breeding with the perfect male, and while I was waiting, I ventured on over to the swamp cave, and man is this so much more easier with a Megatherium. I mean, just look at that damage! Sadly though, I once again got terrible loot, so once I returned to base, I hatched more Theri eggs, and got a male that had all the current mutations. The only thing left to do now was let the baby grow up, which gave me plenty of time to start preparing for one more cave. I grabbed some rocket launchers, crafted some rockets, and farmed some organic polymer because it's time to do the ice cave. Oh! Oh, what the bejesus! Oh, hello there.
Hello there.
Okay, that was tough. I didn't plan for the cave to almost take 2 whole days to complete, but it was worth it because I now have the last artifact I need, and hopefully the last time I will ever have to go into the ice cave. Back at base, I put away the artifact, and since we're almost at day 90, I really needed to start working on my boss army. So, I put my head down and began grinding. Oh!
Well, let me have a rule and a saw and a board and I'll cut it. I'll climb up a ladder with a hammer and a nail and I'll nail it. Well, we worked so hard to build a little house together. In the snow or the rain or the ice cold wind, whenever. No matter what, that's where we're headed.
Oh!
What the dog doing?
And as the sun set on day 102, I was ready to fight the Alpha Broodmother. And yes, I am aware that I'm over the day 100 limit, but I really want to try and beat the Alpha Overseer this video. And I also really don't want to split this video into 2 parts. Anyways, that's not important right now. The only thing that matters right now is beating the Alpha Broodmother and getting one more step closer to fighting the Alpha Overseer. Everything I've done these past 10 days has been leading up to this moment, and if I fail this now, then that's it. No rebuilding, no second chances. We're going all in against the Alpha Broodmother. So, let's not screw this up. Alright, we're going in. There we go, surround her. Oh, she's doing a lot of damage. Alright, we're doing good, we're doing good. Oh, no! Lehog! Alright, well, they're all surrounding her. Oh, no, Lehog fell. Oh, no! Don't focus on the little guys, focus on the Broodmother. Hang strong, boys. Come on! Please! Yes, we did it! We did! Yeah! Oh, thank you. Whoo! Now that is what I'm talking about! Alpha Broodmother has been taken down. However, the price of victory came at a high cost. I lost a lot of my Rexes, and most importantly, I lost Lehog. Rest in peace, you beautiful specimen. Back at base, I remembered that I actually had a backup Daedon for just this scenario. So, everybody, say hello to Madam Hog. Once I was done leveling up Madam Hog, I started crafting some trank darts because it's time to enact my final plan, which was to tame the bane of my existence, the Zyphactinus. After some searching, I was able to find a level 135, and since these demon fish don't torpor run, I was able to just bait it to the surface and knock it out with no trap at all. And in terms of its stats, ooh, that melee. Yeah, that is some good melee. Now the only thing left to do is just wait around for a little bit, and I'll have myself the strongest fish in the sea. At least that was the plan, until I accidentally hit it while I was tabbed out of my screen, and to make matters worse, a pack of sharks just wandered over and killed my tame. You know, I'm starting to lose my patience with this game. But I guess it's okay, because not too far away, there was a level 130 male. Using the same method as before, I was able to knock it out, and after feeding it some kibble, its stats were not that bad. However, I still needed a female for a breeding pair, and hopefully some better melee, so it's back to searching. Oh! Oh! 265. Alright, I tamed it up, and it came out with 380 melee and 3690 health, so...
Yeah, boy.
Once the female fish was tamed, I went back to base to start making my army of demon fish. First thing I needed was some good saddles, which is where this Ascended Saddle BP comes in. I got this bad boy on day 72, and it is really expensive. So after making sure my army was nice and fed, I flew on back over to the swamp cave to gather more cementing paste, and once I was done, I flew on over back to base and made my first tech replicator. I had to do some base remodeling in order to fit this chunky boy in, but once it was placed down, I grabbed some element to power it and crafted 6 saddles that I forgot to record. Now that I had no hide left to my name, I went on a big hide run, started raising my fish army, and raised a Therizino. While I was waiting for the Theri to grow up, I raised more Xiphactinus, farmed some fiber and stone, got another Rex mutation, went on another metal run, and by the time I was done, my new Theri was all grown up. Now I get to see just how strong my current Theris are, and that is some good melee. It also makes gathering hide a lot easier, so my new Theri and I went on a small hide run. You know, nothing too crazy. And when I returned, I leveled up my new Daedon and grabbed this red drop that had some interesting loot. I love ASA and its broken supply drops. Want to know what else I love? Overpowered dinos. Which is why once I was done making more veggie cakes and shotgun shells, my fish army was ready to dominate the sea. So I made some scuba, flew on over to the ocean, and ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the swarm. As you can see, they absolutely shred through anything in their way. Add in the fact that they can get a beefy pack bonus and blood frenzy. These boys are quite the specimens, and if you don't believe me, here's a demonstration. So, was that enough proof? There is absolutely nothing in the ocean that can stop the swarm. Except, you know, another swarm, but let's not think about that. What we should be thinking about is how easy these water caves will be now that I have an army of true units. I mean, just look at this carnage. But to be fair, that was only the easy water cave. The real question here is what about the hard underwater cave? Because my last run, didn't go so well. We'll have time to figure out that later though, because I need to start raising my improved Rex army for the Alpha Monkey fight. This time around, it wasn't gonna take me 10 days to raise an army, because I had a plan on bringing some of the surviving Rexes from the Broodmother fight. These new Rexes were gonna need some food though, so I went on a meat run to make sure my dinos don't starve, and after imprinting some of them, I cryoed the Rexes so they can gain some passive XP, and later in the day, I got another Rex mutation. So now that I had some time on my hands, I decided to quit stalling and flew on over to the hard underwater cave to avenge my fallen Basilo. But apparently the game overheard my plans and sent an Alpha Tuso after me. Okay, so I have come to the conclusion that these fish right here are extremely busted. They just shredded that Alpha Tuso in 15 seconds. Safe to say that I was feeling pretty confident in my abilities. So I brought my army into the hard underwater cave and it was a massacre. Nothing was able to stand in my way, for I am the Alpha of the sea. The only question I had left was, why didn't I tame these things sooner? Back at base, I finished leveling the last of my new boss Rexes, and after healing them thanks to my Daedon, I grabbed all the tributes and artifacts because it was time to fight the Alpha Monkey. A lot of people view the Alpha Monkey as the easiest of all the bosses, but you never know what can happen, especially when the boss arena has a giant pit of death. so you really have to be careful. But come on, my Rexes were able to take down the alpha broodmother. How hard can one alpha monkey really be? Alright, Lily's back there. Alright, we should be fine.
I swear to God. No! No!
I'm just worried about that one going into the pit. Ow! And we got it. Let's go. Whoo! Now that is what I'm talking about. Second alpha boss taken down and my Rex army barely broke a sweat. All I gotta say is thank you, Madam Hog. Now the only thing standing in my way of fighting the Alpha Overseer is the dragon. To begin preparations, I first made a tech generator, because in Ark Ascended, it's able to power the tech replicator all on its own. Then I went on another metal run, because Therizino saddles require a ton of metal. When I was done with the metal run, I flew on over to the swamp cave to do another mass extinction, and as usual, the loot was trash. And if my luck wasn't bad enough, when I was leaving the cave, I noticed that Batbird was being attacked. I wanted to run out of the cave to try to save it, but if I did run out of the cave with the Megatherium still in it, there is a good chance that my Megatherium would be consumed by the cave. And as a result, Batbird met his end. He's been with me from the start, and I'll never forget you, Batbird. Rest easy, my friend. With no flyer now, I ran back home with my Megatherium, and the base seemed a lot more empty without my feathered friend. But we have to keep moving because the Alpha Dragon is coming up real fast. So I started raising my Theri army in preparation for the fight, but I was still missing a Therizino saddle blueprint. I tried getting one from the Easy Water Cave, but shockingly, I didn't get it. So when I went back to base, I started thinking of a plan to get a Theri saddle blueprint while doing some metal runs. And once I got all the metal smelting, I looked up the loot tables for each cave on the island, and according to the wiki, Therizino saddles can spawn in the swamp cave, underwater caves, and the ice cave. So I tried to get a blueprint from the swamp cave, but I got nothing. So I made some primitive saddles for now to level up my Theris, and when I wasn't leveling up my Theri army, I was running the easy and hard water caves, getting everything else but a Theri saddle. So I went back home, leveled more Theris, made more ammo, leveled more Theris, farmed surface drops, and now I'm on day 130. Nice. As you guys saw, I didn't get a single Theri saddle, and if I go into the swamp cave one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. So, I had another big brain idea, which was to run the ice cave again. It turns out that the ice cave is actually the best spot to get a Theri saddle blueprint, and unlike my last run, I have a much stronger Rex. So once I flew on over to the ice cave, I uncryoed my Rex, and this time around, the ice cave wasn't that bad. The polar bear still hit like an absolute truck, but overall, it wasn't bad. However, if I'm gonna be running the ice cave for loot drops, I'm gonna need another plan. Thankfully, I already had one in mind. For those of you that don't know, foundations in Ark can block off a dino spawns in a certain radius. So my plan was to bring all the stone foundations in the world, place down as many as I can inside the cave, which should hopefully block off the dino spawns, making it easier for me to farm supply drops. So after leveling another Theri, I grabbed all my foundations and enacted my master plan. If I'm being honest, I was expecting this plan to blow up in my face like all my other plans, but this surprisingly worked. I was gonna have to bring more foundations down because I didn't have enough to block off the entire cave, but at least now it will make running the ice cave a lot easier. Once I was out of the cave, I was greeted to the sight of a level 10 Giga, which reminded me that I still needed one more heart for the Alpha Dragon fight. So, using my extremely OP shotgun, I began shooting this man until I was able to claim my prize. Now I had all the tributes I needed to fight the Alpha Dragon. The only thing holding me back from fighting it was a stupid saddle blueprint. So I got to work making more veggie cakes, went on several metal runs, grabbed more rockets, and returned to the ice cave. Just like last time, running through this cave was real easy, and once I got to the end of the cave, I was able to grab my third artifact of the strong, but no Therizino saddle. Nice. Yeah, so if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm gonna be doing this for a while, because I need a better saddle for the dragon fight. So prepare yourselves, viewers, for you are about to see a man's deep dive into insanity. To start that process off, I made more stone foundations, leveled more theories, farmed surface drops, ran the ice cave, got 0 theory saddles, made more grappling hooks, leveled more theories, farmed surface drops, leveled even more theories, ran the ice cave, made it to the end of the cave, got more useless loot, farmed more surface drops, and got even more useless loot, leveled more theories, farmed flint, and ran the ice cave once again. Oh my lord. Okay, game, is this a joke? I asked for a decent saddle, not one that cost 30k hide and a entire forest to craft. It's gonna take me like 10 days just to craft 6 of these things. As you could imagine, I was pretty upset because I really didn't want to have to farm 30k hide for a single saddle. So I continued to farm surface drops, farmed metal, ran the ice cave again, but wouldn't you guess it, got nothing of value. You know how they say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results? That's how I feel right now. I kept doing everything in my power to try to find a less expensive theory saddle, but I just couldn't do it. I spent another like 5 days searching, but I just couldn't find one. So I put my head down and came up with an ingenious plan. You see, back in Ark Evolved, there was an item called the S+ grinder. The normal grinder only gave you 1/3 of the resources back from any item that you grinded up, but the S+ grinder gives you all the resources back. So after crafting the quality of life grinder, I placed it down, grabbed some items, and just to look at all them resources. Yeah, so I don't think I have to worry about metal and hide anymore. Wood, on the other hand, though, is gonna be an issue. So, let's just get this over with. Well, wasn't that fun? 5 days of grinding away for 12 saddles. But what's done is done, because now it's time to fight the Alpha Dragon. And if I'm being honest, I am real nervous. But it is do or die now. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road. There you go, boys, lay into him. Madam Hog! I am so nervous. Surround him! There we go. Come on. I'm sorry I'm not talking, but I'm just so nervous. Oh, one went down. Surround him, there we go. Come on. Please! Please! Come on! Yes! Yeah! Okay, that went really well. I'm not sure if it was because of the insanely overpowered Theory saddles or the veggie cakes, but we did it. And it only cost me 1 Therizino and Madam Hog. Your sacrifices will be remembered, my friends. Rest in peace. So, now that I have finally defeated all 3 alpha bosses, I have now earned the right to challenge the Alpha Tech Cave. There was a few things I needed to do though before I was ready. One of those was going on another metal run because I wanted to make myself some tech gear, like this Tech Rex saddle that I forgot to show me making. I love this game. Anyway, making the Tech Rex saddle is gonna be real nice when I gotta deal with the Prolovias. That, and it also looks real cool. The next thing I wanted to do was make myself some tech armor, but I'm gonna need a little more black pearls. So I grabbed the swarm, flew on over to the ocean, and searched for any Alpha Mosa or Tussos I could find. I was probably in the ocean for like 10 minutes before I ran into this Alpha Mosa and proceeded to send this man to the Shadow Realm. Once I got home, I stored away some of the hide I collected and made myself a full set of tech armor. I also made the tech rifle, but I was more focused on my newly acquired ability to fly. Unfortunately, I still had a job to do, so I made a mind wipe tonic, leveled up my crafting skill, and made 5 Ascendant Rex saddles. I still needed to make 4 more though, so I farmed some fiber, hide, killed an aloe, farmed more hide, and there. Now that my Rexes had their premium protection, there was only one more thing I needed to do, which was make more veggie cakes. But I wasn't gonna just sit around and wait on my beehives to produce another 200 honey. So I grabbed my taming supplies, crafted a long neck rifle, got the Daeodons breeding, and grabbed my trapping supplies because I was gonna go tame myself a dire bear. These fairy boys have the ability to harvest 15 honey per hive, which would make getting the remaining honey I need real easy.
What the dog doing?
Once I collected enough honey, I returned to base and proceeded to make all the veggie cakes. This should be enough for my Theory army, but we'll just have to wait and see, because we're in the endgame now, boys. There's only a few more things left I need to do. One of those was feeding my Daeodons a steady diet of Rexes for some of that sweet XP, uncryoing my Theory army to see which ones had the good saddles, made more shotgun and advanced sniper bullets, made another set of flak armor, and here we go, boys. This is it. Our entire journey has led up to this, the Alpha Tech Cave. Because I'm doing this on Alpha difficulty, every dino in that cave is juiced up to the max. Add in Prolovias, Microraptors, Capros, Gigas, and this cave is a nightmare. But none of that matters now though, because once I open up those doors, it's go time. My entire journey on Ark Ascended has been a interesting one, to say the least. While my luck with getting Theory saddles was absolutely terrible, I had a lot of fun. With that being said though, it's time to take on our hardest challenge yet. So, let's get going.
Hello there.
How did 5 minutes go that quickly? Alright, well, I'm boned. Well, who knows? Maybe my theories will be enough. What?
What? What the fuck?
Yeah, okay, no. No, I refuse for that to be the way I lose. I was fine with the amount of dinos I brought in. I accepted my loss. What I won't accept is this game eating my dinos. So, I did the only thing I could think of. Yeah, so I loaded up an old save. Say whatever you want, but I am not losing like that. The save I loaded was before I went into the boss fight, so using my knowledge of the future, I spent the next few days building a stone platform over the lava, which should help make lining up my dinos a lot easier. Wasn't that fun? All that grinding just to get back to where I was before the game decided to give me the mother of all aneurysms. Complaining aside though, I now have a second chance at this cave. Everything I said before still holds up. I'm just really hoping the game doesn't swallow my entire army again. But whatever happens now. No going back, no more restarting, no more second chances. It's now or never. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road.
What the dog doing?
Alright, anyone who gets in, have at thee.
You picked the wrong house, fool!
Oh, that Giga is in lava. Oh! I should have brought a car char. And I crashed. What better way? Yeah, so I failed the tech cave. I don't know what I could have done better. Maybe not getting jumped by microraptors would have helped, but that's that. We gave it our best shot, and it wasn't enough. But that's the beauty of failure. You learn, and you try again. And I'm definitely coming back for round 2. But until that day comes, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next adventure. Take care, everyone.